This section looks at considerations for using batch processing as part of ingesting and processing data in your pipeline. It also introduces AWS Glue. A common use case for batch ingestion and processing is something like this. A bank generates records for each individual financial transaction throughout the day. And then at the end of the day, they generate summary reports for people in the bank and for third-party systems that use the daily summaries in their processing. Compiling each day's transaction is a high-volume, compute-intensive, and repetitive task that occurs on a schedule. With batch processing, the bank can process these big reports at off-peak times, so they aren't overloading the systems during business hours. Other common applications of batch processing include things like research or genomic sequencing, where you have these really large data sets, but you don't need to analyze individual records as they're generated. AWS Glue is a multi-purpose data integration tool and a key service to know about for batch processing. This diagram highlights some of the different components of AWS Glue and how they fit into a pipeline. The version in your student guide provides a lot of detail in the notes, but here's a quick summary. Glue crawlers run on your data and figure out the underlying schema, then add that information to the data catalog. That makes the schema available for ETL jobs and allows some services like Amazon Athena to query the data directly. AWS Glue Data Quality is a feature that uses data quality rules to evaluate objects stored in the AWS Glue data catalog. And you can use it to put quality checks into your ETL jobs. AWS Glue lets you author ETL jobs by writing scripts or by using one of its visual interfaces to create and test your data transformations. Glue Data Brew provides a no-code option for working with your data. Common transformations you might perform with AWS Glue include converting data formats or removing sensitive data. Your student guide includes a couple of additional slides on this topic. Here's a quick example of a batch pipeline using AWS Glue. A game server pushes player and game data to an Amazon S3 bucket every 6 hours. When that happens, the Glue crawler runs and updates the data catalog with player log data. An AWS Glue ETL job aggregates the data into 1-minute intervals and stores it in another Amazon S3 bucket where it's available for analysis. Here are the 3 big takeaways about batch processing and AWS Glue. First, recognize scenarios where batch processing makes sense. Repetitive computations across a large data set where you don't need to react in real time. Second, remember that AWS Glue is a multi-purpose integration tool with low-code or no-code options for ingesting data and making it available for analysis. And third, remember that as long as you don't need real-time data aggregation or transformation, AWS Glue might be a good fit for your use case.